All right, thank you all so much for joining me this morning once again for another InvArch Weekly Community Call. I'm your host, Casey, the Community Manager, and I will be taking you through everything that you need to get familiarized yourself this week with everything GitArch, InvArch, Tinkernet, UtildDAO related. So, without further ado, everyone kind of knows how I like to start these. For those of you who might be joining us for the first time, I like to usually just kind of recap my week and personalize a little bit, something related to Dotsama, something not related to Dotsama. So, just to give you guys a bit of an update in the background. So, this week has been extremely exciting. We've had a lot going on. I'm planning for like one of my best friend's weddings. Trying to help him with that chaos. It's a pretty chaotic situation to say the least. So trying to help with all that stuff going on. And then on top of that, my daughter actually started crawling this week. So I officially have a third mobile child. So got to keep up with that one now as well. Always fun, chasing around a little one. But with that being said, guys, um, sorry about that. Oh, had to cough really quick. Um, with that being said, guys, the other thing that I wanted to talk about too, the exciting thing. So for us this week, I think probably the most exciting thing was the fact that so UtildDAO had like a ton of stuff happen. We're gonna kind of get into that a little bit, talk about everything. Um, so I'm not gonna give too many spoilers, but just know like as far as Dotsama ecosystem, InvArch, all that stuff goes, very very exciting week, and we have some exciting stuff to share with you guys. So, without further ado, I usually like to pass these off as well, let somebody else from the community or just share their week as well. Something related to personal and then something related to Datsama that they were excited about. AJ, I'll go ahead and pass the mic off to you, let you kind of do your thing for a second, and then if anybody wants to after the fact, AJ, you can kind of give them an open mic moment.
Thank you, Casey.
No problem.
So yes, happy Friday to all of you InvArch techs out there. It's definitely always a good feeling to know that the week's coming to an end or is coming to an end, and to look back on what's been done, what can be improved, but also like who doesn't love a weekend? So first and foremost, keeping it on the business side for InvArch. Personally, I've been putting more of a deeper focus into networking within the ecosystem. And that is either like reconnecting with some of the initial connections that I've made since joining the ecosystem and joining the project, getting to know other people, other professionals, other marketers, or persons in similar capacities as myself. And then as well as diving into other projects. Not that I've never done that, but I had been. But it's more of a specified like focus for me. Getting to know like their mission, getting to know like their value as a project, as a team, and what they specializing in, like what is their purpose, and what are the contributions that they're making to the Web3 and immediately the Dotsama ecosystem. But yeah, all in all, like it just comes full circle, because with that, I mean, like I get to know who's behind the project, and then as well as keep them in mind in terms of my networking efforts. So, and then on terms of the social media side, I mean, everything has been quite the same. Our channels are growing. Our Twitter account, so for InvArch Network, is growing. We've, as you can tell if you haven't already known, but I mean, we've also finally officialized GetArch with its Twitter account. So in total so far, I mean, we have InvArch, we have Tinkernet, we have GetArch, we have UtildDAO. And it's amazing. It's amazing with all the attention that we've been getting, and I wouldn't say hype. I would say like just really like organic, unique attention, and I think that any project deserves, but I mean, like we are building as much as we can to really bring forth, like the essence and like everything that comes with InvArch technology infrastructure, which is really powerful, and is something that you cannot just pass on. So yeah, I'll just stop rambling from there. If anyone from the community wants to update us on their week, what they've been doing, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Hi guys, Tycho here.
Hey, Tycho.
Hi. Just wanted to say hi. Been on this call for so long, and I never had the chance to say hi, so I thought I'd jump in.
Hey, absolutely. That's what this is for.
I've been waiting for this moment, Tycho.
Yeah, everybody is waiting for this moment. But yeah, I can talk. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always great getting members of our community and just members of like just other ecosystems and DAOs and stuff getting in here, just sharing like the excitement behind our ecosystem as well as like all the projects that we're supporting. These calls are all very laid back, like they're very nonchalant. I just provide some updates to you guys. We answer questions and we hang out with our community. We like to do that once a week. So, Tycho, thank you for joining us 100%. And like literally just for clarification, anybody, absolutely anybody, can unmute yourself and you can engage in the conversation with us. You don't need to feel like hesitant. I know for some people there's a bit of an English barrier, but that's okay. If we can't understand you, you can always send a message in the actual open chat for the InvArch Tech Community Lounge. But Tycho, since you did take the mic, I would like to ask you, what was something that was super exciting inside of .sama this week for you?
Something very exciting. Everything about Udall DAO.
There was
the most exciting thing in my life. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of exciting stuff going on this week, and I can't wait to get into it. We'll get into it pretty shortly. But, all right, well, Udall DAO, you heard his answer, everyone. Would anybody else like to take, we have enough time for just one more person. If anyone wants to, feel free to take the mic and say, hey, this is how my week went. This was something inside of .sama that made me excited. If not, that's totally okay. We can move right on into some of the news to share with you guys. All right. Sounds like everyone's ready for some updates. That's what I expected, but that's totally okay. All right, let me get out of this tab. There's my tab. Okay. So to provide some updates for you guys, first we're going to focus on GitArch. So if you guys haven't been paying attention this week, you might have missed out on this. So that's what I'm here to update you guys on. So here, the team at InvArch Network is excited to announce that the registrations for GitArch private beta event have officially opened. So there is going to be 10 teams selected. It will be a 4-week duration in total. There's going to be 50K Tinker and rewards, commemorative NFTs given out, and it's going to launch in October. For those of you who might be considering, like, what do you have to do to be accepted? You just need to be inside of a team of developers. GitArch would like to invite a mix of teams to try the GitArch beta. So we want you all to provide valuable feedback as well as feature recommendations. So interested ecosystems is not just limited to like Polkadot. So there's of course Polkadot, but also Ethereum, Cosmos, Solana, and more. So I'm just saying, if you guys if you're part of a team of developers and you guys would like to consider trying to get applying, go ahead, please. We would love to see more people applying to the open beta registrations. We've been getting some really cool applications, but we'd love to see some really, really cool teams who are really excited to build some really cool stuff on top of GitArch. So if you guys are those individuals yourselves, or you know somebody who is part of a team of developers who would be perfect to test this kind of stuff, please inform them, let them know, send them the beta registration. I will actually drop the link to the tweet that has the link to the private beta registration form. That is a mouthful to say sometimes. In the open chat, just so if anybody wants to, they can check it out. Can Ada be a part of the beta? I mean, who knows? Potentially. there's a lot of teams of ecosystems that we're trying to target. GitArch isn't going to be just focused on Polkadot, so there's a good chance. Excuse me. As well as last week, guys, there was a thread that was released, and I'd like to re-highlight it again because GitArch is extremely powerful. Not everyone knows what it is. It's our newest thing that we've started talking about. It's the newest profile that we've launched as far as one of our products goes. Highly recommend everyone give it a follow if you haven't yet. But I wanted to recapitulate this thread. It has a lot of important information to keep you all updated on. So GitArch is the most advanced, seamless, and unstoppable alternative to platforms such as GitHub and GitLab. This isn't the next step for unstoppable code, but it is the final destination. So GitArch is a truly decentralized and censorship-resistant hosting service for software development and version control using Git. It's built on InvArch Network and Tinker Parachain. GitArch features Git repositories stored as NFT primitives. Unlike platforms such as Radical, GitArch isn't an alternative version control solution to the Git protocol, because Git is already a distributed protocol. There is an immediate UX difference compared to Radical, however, almost none compared to GitHub. There's no reinventing the wheel. GitArch is designed to be a seamless alternative to GitHub, not Git. So, for those of you who are familiar with GitHub, I highly recommend you guys check this out. Once again, like, the stuff here is amazing. I will just say really quickly, I don't know, somebody is like kind of like background breathing. If you don't mind, like if you're not talking, please mute yourself just for the sake of the recording for everybody who's not here, please. Thank you so much. With that being said, guys, let me get back on track. So GitArch is designed to be a seamless alternative to GitHub. So actually it's going to be like the most seamless transition for a Web 2 developer who's used to using GitHub that we can possibly imagine. I mean, like we said, there's literally no reinventing the wheel here. The UI, UX experience for them is the same. So, I mean, it's literally just what you're familiar with, you know, the command line interface, but you're actually coding, instead of doing it in Web 2, you're doing it in Web 3. Another thing that was really powerful that was talked about, I believe it was either yesterday or the day before. No, it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday during the Polkadot Community Call. So for those of you who don't know, GitHub as well, like one of the things, GitArch, one of the things that it will be able to do in comparison to, say, GitHub. So we all know what happened with Tornado Cash. That developer got arrested. His identity was tied to, you know, the repository and everything. One of the things that GitArch will be able to do is also keep actual identities of developers private if that's something that they need. That way, you know, they can build these revolutionary protocols and applications without fear of, say, you know, a government coming along and sanctioning them and possibly throwing them in prison for just developing a protocol that other people are using in a nefarious way. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous that a developer is sitting in jail because of somebody else's, you know, crimes. But he was the builder, and so they slapped him with the charge, you know. It is what it is. Hopefully he can get out of that situation. It's absolutely terrible. But I felt like that is also another very important thing to highlight that is actually not mentioned in this thread, was the simple fact that GitArch will be able to protect your identity as well. So that way you're not, you know, absolutely exposing yourself to who knows what. The front end UI and UX are exactly the same as familiar. In the fat stack in GitArch, the back end, these Git repositories are being minted as NFT primitives, which feature advanced multi-sig features, the most advanced in Web3 actually. And in case you guys didn't catch it, there a few weeks ago, we had a really cool thread put together about how InvArch is innovating multi-signature accounts. Highly recommend. If you guys missed that, please go ahead, check it out. I just dropped that there. More importantly, GitArch is designed to be truly decentralized with absolutely no single points of failure or centralized dependencies. The Tinker parachain was the first Kusama parachain to implement a light client solution. RPCs are no longer a point of failure. So while RPC censorship could cripple something like Radical, GitArch can stay true to delivering an environment where truly unstoppable code can exist. This isn't Web 2.5. This is Web 3 through and through. To this point, even the InV4 Git code base itself is stored and hosted on GitArch. Currently, this is just a demo/staging area for the world to see. However, the world is invited to check out the repository here. Once again, I will also share the repository for everybody. Just drop a link, copy paste, because I know we have some developers in here who might not have gotten to check it out last time. I talked about it last week. Did that not do anything? That link didn't do anything. Okay, 1 second. Might actually have to visit it myself. That's okay. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that, guys. I know for some people last week the link wasn't working for some reason either, but here we go. So with that being shared, moving on into the next. So unlike any other solution today, GitArch is designed to support and be empowered by a multi-chain future. The InvArch network will be secured by Polkadot and interoperable with other chains thanks to Substrate's SDK. This extends to GitArch as well. In the near future, utility-specific chains like Fala Network for off-chain computation, Kilt Protocol for credentials and DID, Manta Network for ZK privacy layers, and Oak Network for cross-chain automation can all seamlessly integrate with GitArch. This means that one day GitArch will feature DID integrations for developer credentials. This is kind of what I was just talking about with being able to protect your identity as a developer, not needing to expose your actual identity. Integrations for automated CI/CD tooling, and privacy to protect developer identities, along with so many other advanced integrations. GitArch will be directly connected the on-chain innovation funding protocol, which realizes NFT staking and donations. This applies towards repositories also. Community-driven funding models can be easily applied toward repositories and even repository donations. Finally, combine all of these features with the power of Polkadot's XCM format for cross-consensus messaging, and developers will be able to use GitArch as a single development hub where they can then deploy directly on any integrated chain. So, extremely, extremely important, guys. Truly the home of unstoppable code. Excuse me, sorry. As well as, so one of the things that you guys, I want to just share these screenshots with you. We shared some things with GitArch this week, so there's a kind of a screenshot of minting on-chain repositories as NFTs has never been easier, and adding licenses on-chain is as easy as can be. So here's a kind of a tweet link to a screenshot showing you guys exactly what I'm talking about, just in case you missed it, because I know between InvArch, Tinkernet, UtildDAO, and GitArch, there's a lot of tweets that go out every week, so sometimes they can be kind of easy to miss up on. So if you guys check that out, it kind of shows exactly what the repository will look like when you're making it on GitArch. It's very, very cool. And then there's also a little video here that you guys can watch it in real time on a different tweet that I will also drop in the link in the chat. There we go. And then last but not least, just to wrap up our little section on GitArch, GitArch is going to feature familiar and advanced features for developers. What features do you believe are going to be the most important for GitArch? So we had a poll. There were 63 votes total, and it looks like the two top. It took a pretty significant lead since the last time that I looked, since the poll ended. So the number one most voted thing that people were excited for was project management tools. Developer networking came in a close second. And the other two options that didn't get as much support were automated deployment and then just issue tracking. So thank you all for everyone who participated in that poll. We'd love to get your all's feedback and know what people are getting excited for. So thank you all for providing that. AJ, I know you're here with me as well. Do you have anything else that you would like to add on GitArch before we kind of move on into the next subject?
I mean, more of a personal take, but this is just monumental. I think, well, in general, with just InvArch as a whole, like, I would say like 95% of its potential has not been realized yet. And that would go the same with just with our products, and like, you know, I would say right now the flagship one would be GitArch, and just coming to know, even from like a marketing and like social media perspective, and seeing all the different conversations around, you know, code bases being censored, you know, censorship, freedom of speech, and as such rights and freedoms being like taken away, which is, as we've highlighted it in like the past, is, you know, is a developer's way of, you know, expressing themselves, and then going on to more of the utility side of things. I mean, like, there's countless conversations of all kinds of developers, all kinds of programmers across Web 2 and Web 3, of course, from different ecosystems, and not even in any. And it's just like, it's a worry, it's a issue, and
Absolutely.
GitArch is that solution. So
No, I 100% agree. And I'm actually kind of glad I called on you, because like you just reminded me of something. So I'm not going to share it here because it's not directly related to InvArch. This was just kind of my own thoughts. So this week I created a thread talking about how I truly believe like blockchain technology can actually change the future for elections, the whole voting processes. The reason I say this is just I'm not going to get political here or share any of my views, any of that stuff. I'm not here to you know, change minds or whatever. But basically, to summarize, regardless of your political stances, I'm just going to use the United States as an example because I'm from the United States. I don't know how elections in other countries take place. So for my country, for example, whenever there's an election, you go somewhere and you vote either in person, or you can do absentee ballot voting. Some people even vote online. There's lots of different ways to vote. However, voter participation is usually extremely low, especially when you have like a Senate race or something like that, not a general election, which only happens every 4 years. You're talking like pretty minimal participation. Sometimes it's like in the low 30s, like up in the 40s. So like on average, though, more than half of the country does not vote. Um, and I often ask the question like, why? The most common answers I always receive is like, my vote does not matter. People believe that the elections are rigged. They have no faith in the public election system. People will say that the Electoral College, because it's something unique to the United States, people will say that the Electoral College determines the president and that their vote doesn't matter. I mean, there's tons and tons of things that people will say. Tons and tons of excuses, reasons, whatever you might want to call them, as to why people don't want to get out and voice their opinion, cast their vote, and let their, you know, opinions be heard, so to say. And I think the number one key reason is simply public distrust in government. They just don't believe that it matters. They don't think that their vote matters. And they just simply don't think that they actually have any pull or any weight in this process. And that's not the truth. If every single person in the United States, for example, was, let's say, just forced to vote, you know, like if you were of age, you would have maximum participation. And most likely people would actually vote based on their preferences if they were forced to do so. Now, obviously, you can't force someone to vote, but what if individuals knew for a fact that when they casted their vote, it was what it was? It couldn't be changed after the fact for people who believe that those types of things take place. It would be totally transparent, held on chain elections. And I also would say for the politicians, it would almost be, as long as, you know, you're not one of the bad ones and you don't have anything to hide, this type of thing would also be a huge aid to them, because then it's like they can actually get transparent results as to who's actually supporting them and who doesn't. How many votes are they going to get? How much support can they expect to pull? And I'm telling you right now, as we've seen with decentralized governance, you know, me personally, if I could witness this process take place, I think that would be amazing. If you had, like, for example, a wallet that, or a form, for example, that is tied to wallets. And these wallets, for example, are tied to Americans' social security numbers. Like, you have to have a social security number to verify your wallet. Your wallet's assigned into your identity, and you can only cast one vote. And these votes are collected in this one area, this one singular form. And this form is then signed off on by, we'll say, like a multi-signature wallet that has bipartisan officials from every, political idealization, party, whatever the case may be. They all have to sign this agree, and they can all see the results, and the results cannot be altered. Therefore, you would actually have true, in my opinion, you would have true democracy. You would have people have faith in the election processes, in their voting, and you would also have politicians who genuinely know the support that they have. And I think that would be truthfully the best thing. I think it would stomp out a lot of public distrust in government officials, as well as just the voting process in and of itself. And I genuinely hope that something like that will be implemented. If not in the near future, down the line, please, God help us. Like, I would love to see something like that implemented. But just to kind of get off that ramble, thank you once again, AJ, for like bringing that up, because it reminded me of that. One of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about, it's one of the things I'm passionate about, is government elections and that type of thing. So I think using blockchain to solve a lot of the problems there is just common sense. But moving on.
Casey, can I jump in there, please? Hello, everyone. My name is Richie. Casey, can I jump in?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Casey, are you saving this as we speak?
I mean, I'm recording this, yes. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because, I'll reach out to you about that afterwards. Basically, I couldn't get my screen recording going in time. AJ, last week, you really simplified it well about the bot system and how that works for liquidity bootstrapping goals. I really liked your explanation. Could you do the same? Could you please simplify, if possible, the process of minting the repositories? How does that work? I understand it's super simplified. GitArch has done this really well. It's seamless transition. Actually, how does that process happen? If you could answer that, that would be great.
Oh, I don't think that was me, actually. I know that we had Jake on last week. Casey, can you recall? Was that me?
Okay, then maybe it was Jake.
Yes, that was actually our team member Jake. That actually is a great question though, Richie. Let me just make note. Okay, so I have note of your question, because that is a question that to be honest, I'm not sure how that happens. That is a great question for one of our developers here. So I will make sure I get an answer for that, and I can share that with everybody next week on the weekly community call, because that is a great question, and I'm sure everyone would love an answer to that as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody. So with that being said, kind of got off a little ramble about blockchain and elections. To do a short little recap though, I'm not going to kind of go over these, because we're already 30 minutes in and I have a lot more things that I want to talk to you guys about, but I am going to drop the links. So this week we did have 2 Twitter spaces that we participated in. Our founder did, Dakota Barnett. So on September 20th, we did a surprise kind of Twitter space with A-Star. For those of you guys who missed it, it was awesome. There was a lot of good alpha shared with them. I mean, their community was very excited, had a lot of good questions, and I mean, even Soda himself was in the audience listening. So it was just really, really fantastic. On top of that, we also had the Polkadot Community Call yesterday. This wasn't, of course, just where our founder spoke. There was a lot of good conversation going on about what's going on inside the ecosystem, about what's being built. But for those of you guys who would like to recapitulate, go back and watch that. Dakota does speak on GitArch, as well as the Daoist CDK and UtildDAO a little bit, but it's primarily focused on just the Daoist CDK. I will drop the links to both of those just now in the in the actual chat description box there. So if you guys want to go back and watch those, highly please recommend do so. They are great conversations. To move on into the next subject though, because I'm not gonna highlight what was talked about. If you guys want to go back and watch those, please do. The InvArch Ambassador program, I would like to highlight that we are still recruiting as always. So if you guys know somebody who's passionate about IP, passionate about Web3, passionate about blockchain, or even just passionate about our ecosystem, if they're passionate about the Kusama ecosystem, I can almost assure you they will be passionate about our project, because what we are doing is going to help bolster so many other projects in the ecosystem, just as they do for us. So please, without a doubt, if you know somebody who is interested in, our ecosystem, helping grow it, the prosperity of it, please, I implore you, let them know about our ambassador program. I would also like to welcome any of our new ambassadors who might be listening right now. We've been growing our community, so if you guys took the time to join us this morning for your first community call, I thank you all for taking your time to join that with us. Right now, I don't think there's been a better time to be an ambassador. Truthfully, we have a lot of exciting things going on right now. Tons of things always to share, lots of things to always be excited about. And our reward system is extremely transparent. So if you're interested in possibly, earning your stake in the network in InvArch and maybe even some Tinker down the line, I highly recommend you guys check out the ambassador program. Make sure that you actually read the applications. There's a lot of things that you guys can get involved in. So highly recommend, if you're not already involved, that you do so. If you want to get, support InvArch and you want to get rewarded for spreading the word of our accomplishments, then this is the easiest and most awesome opportunity to do so. Also, there actually is some updates that are going to be possibly, I hope, pushing out today, as long as I can get them all completed. There will be some updates to some core roles. Nothing will be changing about current core roles for those of you who might be listening and being like, what's going to happen? So nothing like that is going to change. There's just some new core roles being reintroduced, as well as some changes in how the creation flow process will probably go. But other than that, guys, that's really all that you can anticipate as far as the ambassador program, just updates. I wanted to go ahead and share that with everybody as well who might be listening, who's interested in the ambassador program and might want to know more about those things. So lastly, there wasn't a whole ton of information shared this week about the LBP with Basilisk, but I would like to go back and highlight it again. There's going to be a lot of information coming out this coming week, possibly even this weekend, but I do believe it will be this coming week regarding the LBP with Basilisk. So for those of you guys who don't know, this is going to be a very historic process that we're very ready to kick off. This is going to be how TinkerNet discovers our first price discovery. And not to mention, this is the first LBP event held in .sama, so it's very historic for us. We're very honored to be partnering with Basilisk to do this for the ecosystem. I would like to recapitulate this article as well, just to kind of highlight what you guys can expect. So what is an LBP? Before diving into a liquidity bootstrapping pool, otherwise known as an LBP, it is important to understand the underlying fundamentals of what a liquidity pool is. This is an article that I'm going to share with you guys. In this article, there's a link for those of you guys who might not be familiar with what a liquidity pool is or an LBP. It actually has a video in there to kind of provide an explanation before you guys dive further into the article, but we're not going to play that for the sake of the recording. In a normal liquidity pool, the two asset types are set in an even ratio. So, however, with a liquidity bootstrap pool, the liquidity pool could start with a 10 to 90 split between two pairs. Over time, the price will regulate itself as an effect of trading volume and drive the liquidity pool to a more even 20-80 split until eventually reaching a more normal 50-50 split by the end of the LBP event. The main inspiration behind an LBP is the ability to launch tokens with low capital requirements that also provide a strong degree of protection against the whales and bots in the crypto space. This is done by disincentivizing frontrunners and whales from getting a better deal than those with less to spend. To achieve this, a 2-token pool is set up with a project and a collateral token, and then the weights are then set in favor of the project token at first. Over time, a gradual flip occurs where the collateral coin is favored by the end of the token sale. Controllers can calibrate the sale to keep the price relatively stable to maximize revenue or decline the price to the desired minimum. LBP events are the ideal solution for projects like the InvArch TinkerNet that want to get tokens into the hands of their broad user base and community without the limitations of a rapidly increasing price curve that works against them. So, Tinker, the first LBP in .sama. In the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem, the Hydra DX team has made LBP one of the core functions of their Basilisk parachain. Thanks to their tech, any project that wants to determine the value of its token can go through this process to establish a fair and reasonable price. We are very excited to announce that the first project to hold this LBP event in the .sama ecosystem will be the TinkerNet parachain, and Basilisk will be the very first project to provide the infrastructure to host an LBP campaign. So after the smashing success of the Tinkernet crowd loan, the growing excitement around UtilDAO and the Daoist CDK and the GitArch dApp, and the imminent utility of the Tinkernet, it is clear that the time to make the Tinker token a freely available asset is now. So I know people have been saying, when LBP, when is it going to happen? So it's estimated that it will actually take place at the end of this month, the launch of it, but that is just an estimation. We will, of course, keep you all updated as to when you can expect the actual LBP event to kick off. Both teams are extremely ready to launch this. We're just kind of getting things in place, making sure everything is ready. There's a lot of internal talk. I can't discuss everything, but I will say there's a lot of belief that this will be extremely rewarding for all of our community members who participate. HydraDX, so just to kind of go over what they are, HydraDX and Basilisk. So they are a cross-chain liquidity protocol built on Substrate, and its mission is to enable frictionless liquidity for all crypto assets by building the first of its kind multi-asset liquidity pool, the HydraDX Omni Pool. With the Omni Pool, HydraDX breaks with the traditional conception, according to which assets are traded in pairs using isolated pools. Basilisk is not a mere canary network of HydraDX. It is an independent chain that has the mission to enable frictionless liquidity bootstrapping for new crypto assets. Basilisk is a natural stepping stone on the journey towards building the liquidity infrastructure of the future. Together, Basilisk and HydraDX create a synergy that caters to the varying needs of crypto assets throughout their entire lifecycle. Together, they create a synergy that caters. Oh, that's already repeated. I forgot. So, and then to kind of go over InvArch and Tinkernet as well, just to provide a brief summarization. InvArch is a leading-edge Layer 1 blockchain built to support and empower the future creator economy by providing a new foundation through its powerful NFT primitives and DAO solutions. The InvArch network features the most advanced NFT primitives and DAO solutions produced in the Polkadot ecosystem and is a major project pushing the limits of Web3 further than anything we've thought possible in other ecosystems. InvArch is designed not just to allow new products of development to take flight, but also to change how individuals and teams can develop together. InvArch is built on the Substrate blockchain framework and designed to launch on the Polkadot ecosystem as a parachain. The Tinkernet parachain is the canary network of the InvArch network. Designed as the IP asset and accelerated development staging grounds for the Kusama ecosystem, the Tinkernet serves a trio of testing purposes, one for the developers who maintain the network, one for the developers who build on top of the network, and one for the end users of dApps and applications inside the ecosystem. Both teams will be holding a joint Twitter space in the coming week. So I would highly anticipate that to be announced very soon. But of course, stay tuned for details regarding the LBP event, as well as a joint Twitter space. So with that being said, guys, I'd like to go ahead too and kind of dive right on into UtilDAO. So this is kind of my last subject to share with you guys. But there's a lot to share, and we've already hit the 40-minute mark. So, okay, just actually before I go into UtilDAO, one announcement that I would like to share as well, just for anybody listening who might be curious about what the ambassador incentives was in the Tinkernet crowd loan process, and like what's going on with that. So, if you guys looked at the Tinkernet crowd loan rewards and how that was structured, there was a 5% ambassador incentive. So the 5% ambassador incentives were reserved as incentives and rewards for ambassadors in the InvArch Ambassador program. These rewards are earned by participating in the InvArch Embassy and assisting in the grassroots growth of our network. So you had to be an ambassador at the time of the crowd loan ended, or basically right beforehand if you had been an ambassador prior, and you had to register for this airdrop. So a portion, 20% of these tokens, will be retroactively rewarded and airdropped for the previous contributions of past and current ambassadors, and then the remaining 80% will be allocated as rewards for the future ambassadors in the program. And when it said current ambassadors, it was talking about the ones, towards the end of the crowd loan, when that was done. All tokens received this way will see 10% of their allocations initially unlocked, and then the remaining 90% experience linear vesting by block over a 1-year duration. And as far as ambassadors who were concerned of when will they get the airdrop, as well as the swap that was available for them. So for those of you who might not be familiar, we offered the opportunity for our ambassadors who had earned Varch tokens for contributing to the network to actually swap 25% of their earned Varch in exchange for Tinker tokens. So Those two events, the airdrop for ambassadors as well as the swap, will be taking place shortly after the LBP event concludes, just to clarify that for our ambassadors. So to get into the last subject, UDL-DAO. So highlight that UDL-DAO members. So you guys are going to be actually, if you guys didn't know this already, I talked about this last week, but I think it's important to highlight it again because we've had a lot more people joining in the DAO. UDL-DAO members will be airdrop some Tinker. Now you actually have to be a member, not just a visitor. So keep that in mind. The bonfire event will still be happening. In case you guys didn't know, FOMO did hit hard, like really, really hard this week. 300 tickets were sold out in 24 hours. The last 100 literally went in 70 minutes. If you guys don't know Young Beef from Subsocial, he literally got 25. So if you guys are looking for some secondary ones, you might hit him up. It was the top collection ever marked this week, so it's also extremely exciting. We had a lot of exciting things going on inside of the DAO this week as well. So for those of you guys who didn't know, we had a little trivia game for some banners. Not all banners have been sent out yet as well, but we had a little trivia game regarding UDL-DAO and tied in some InvArch stuff in there as well. And for our creators and moderators, you guys were just given one. You didn't have to participate in the trivia, even though it was encouraged for you guys to. No one's getting two, just to make things clear. But so if you guys won, congratulations. I'm excited for you guys to be getting your banners. They're very cool. And then also we had a meme contest. So UDL-DAO held a meme contest on Twitter. It was actually one of the coolest things that I'd seen somebody produce in a minute. Was LOL McShiz, actually from the Basilisk team. I will share a link to it because he made this edit of like Sparta, and it's just next level. I don't even know. It's so funny. Like I watched it at least God knows how many times yesterday, just laughing over and over and over again about it because it was awesome.
That made my day for sure.
Oh, dude, it was so cool. I was just like, this is insane. How did he make that? But I just dropped that there for anybody who would like to go back and watch that. It's awesome. So he won. There was 4 other winners as well as this week. So there was 10 ambassadors who were selected to win tickets into UDL-DAO. We also distributed those yesterday. So congratulations to those new DAO members. And then on top of that, we also held the Rainbow Ticket event. So for those of you guys who aren't familiar, I'm going to highlight what this is. So the past couple of weeks have been an amazing time for the UDL-DAO initiative, and the project has quickly become one of the most talked about topics in the Kusama ecosystem. And UDL-DAO NFT sales took over the scene. With nearly 350 individual holders and just shy of 1,500 KSM in total volume, UDL-DAO and the UDL-DAO's NFT collection has cultivated an amazing community. The most amazing part of all of this is that these holders were attracted to the project for its technical advancements, for the innovation it brings. However, now that UDL-DAO consists of so many amazing and respected individuals from the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem, there are many wishing that they had gotten to the party just a tad earlier. After seeing waves of custom and semi-custom UDLs being minted, holders are becoming aware of just how powerful it is to be able to customize your UDL. So today, UDL-DAO proposes an interesting offer. This offer has already kind of expired. I just wanted to highlight what it was, and there's also something to highlight at the end of the article for those of you who might be interested. So holders of 1 UDL ticket NFTs have the rare opportunity, or had the rare opportunity, to exchange one of their tickets for a rainbow UDL ticket. So only 50 rainbow tickets were going to be given out this way. An additional 50 rainbow tickets will be listed at a later date with a floor price of 10 KSM each. So for those of you who missed out, like myself, I did not purchase a rainbow ticket. I did not do the swap. I kind of wish I had. So I'm going to have to buy one myself as well. But rainbow tickets will be redeemable toward any item of any rarity available in the UDL's vault. So the UDL's vault is actually being stacked full of equipables. In order to receive a rainbow ticket, applicable UDL-DAO members are asked to fill out a form, and then you had to wait and be confirmed. So it was basically just the first 50 individuals who completed the form and actually had the ticket to be able to burn were granted the role. So congratulations to those of you who managed to snag those as fast as you could. I went to try to grab one like maybe a couple hours after it was announced and it was already done. So I didn't think it would happen that fast. It's the FOMO, it gets real. So if you guys want, be sure to keep on the update for that. And I wouldn't be surprised too if, some UDL tickets, some rainbow tickets might end up being sold. Someone might try to put them on the secondary market. But with that being said, there was a lot of exciting updates this week with UDL DAO. And you guys can expect more to come. With that being said, there's only one other thing. Like I would say, you guys can expect, I would say before the end of this month, you can expect the Twitter space with Basilisk. Don't quote me on that, but I would say it's going to happen very soon. If you guys haven't gotten into UDL DAO, I'd love to see everybody join. If you guys are interested, join as a visitor. We'd be more than happy to have you. You guys can get a sense of what we're doing, and who knows, you might even be interested enough that you decide that it's for you and you might want to join. So I will go ahead and also just drop a little invite there. If anybody wants to join as a visitor, feel free to do so. With that being said, everyone, thank you all so much for joining me this morning for a wonderful InvArch Weekly Community Call. It's getting kind of almost close to the hour mark since we started the recording. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down now and end the recording and get it uploaded for you all. Thank you all so much for coming out this morning and joining me. It's always a wonderful time getting to speak with the community and hang out with all of my favorite InVarch here in the InVarch Community channel. I love hanging out with you guys in the mornings. Best way to start the weekend that there is just kind of getting to decompress with my community and just hang out with you guys. So with that being said, everyone, thank you all for joining me. I hope to see you next week. We'll have a lot more exciting news and a lot more exciting updates to provide you guys. All right. Have a wonderful time, guys. See you next week.
Have an awesome weekend.
Так, Свят, свалилось это быстро.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.